It was always about deception. The crystal ball, the gypsy clothes, the fake accent. Cheap props to make the fortune cookies easier to swallow. My customers, they bought into it because they wanted to. If there's no free will, if it's all about fate, life is a whole lot simpler. We can just say, hey, it was meant to be, and get on with it. That's the key to fortune telling. That's why people fall for it. We're all prisoners of our search for a higher meaning. It's all about mutual deception. I never believed I was telling people anything they didn't already know. Until now. I have waking dreams. Visions. I see auras. Auras! Yours, by the way, is bright enough to blind me. I see through the eyes of others. I can even see into the future, for real. The paths of fate, clear as day. It's almost like I've become who I've pretended to be all these years. Or maybe I'm just going crazy. I could be going crazy. I wouldn't blame myself if I was going, oh, great. Here we go again. I'm having another vision. They come and go like headaches. I can't really control them. Quick, before it passes. I see your twin paths. One leads to salvation, the other to defeat. I see black tendrils rising to embrace you. Voices whispering in your ear. Corruption from within and from without. Something rising from the bottomless deep to devour us all. To turn day into night. Sorry. I see something else. Our paths intertwine, converge, and at the end of it, Exodus. Inescapable, permanent, fated. On the tip of the pyramid, your path shall be revealed. That's as good as it's gonna get. Make of it what you will. Sometimes I get more visions, like the aftershocks of an earthquake. If that happens, I'll let you know. You won't even have to pay my usual fee. Let's call it a freebie, sweetie.
Shadows. Long shadows. From the old boughs of the fairy forest. The flickering lights of the foolish fire guiding your path. Come, come, they beckon. Does this make any sense to you? Guess what? More visions. This time there's bees. The incessant buzzing of bees. And flowers. Flowers blooming out of season. To mark the path ahead. They keep coming. The visions. It's exhausting. Now I see an angel, guarding hollowed ground, sword in hand to ward off evil and to guide the way. This had better be the last one. Terrifying. Time. The innocent. Stare at you from the gallows. all of it. The storm is past, for now. I don't know what lies at the end of this road, but it's not good. For any of us.
Well now, I'm not much fit for entertaining, but I reckon you ain't much in the mood for hospitality either, am I right? Oh, not a big talker, eh? I'm used to that from a surly husband, and kids more comfortable with kicking a ball around than having a conversation with their ma. Name's Nama. Nama Creed. Raised a family up here. Before this dungeon thick fog came, took 'em is my story. Helen sent you over to check on me, I reckon. Now, your concern is wicked kind, but I don't need any pitying. I got my shotgun, I got what's left of my wits. I'll manage. Now, this hullabaloo began after the Lady Margaret came back. My husband Larry, the others, we all thought that they'd gone missing out there, but the sea took them. They came back. Whole town could finally breathe again. But then came that fog. Like it was following them back to shore. 'Twas right, said they, such birds to slay, that bring the fog and mist. Don't ask me where I got that from. Probably heard it on Oprah. Never got to ask Larry about what happened in those weeks they were gone. Been around gift horses long enough not to look him in the mouth. He was back. Thought life would go on the way life goes on, one day at a time. When the fog lifts enough to see the Lady Margaret laid up in the harbor, covered in that red seaweed, I always wonder if he'd still be here if I had. Oh, yeah. You'd think these wet bits would just fizzle on the bonfire, but no. They sparkle like kindling wood. That's heartening. Ah, geez, what a mess. Good thing I'm not particular. Now I'm used to getting my hands dirty. Fish guts, childbirth, sutures, the dead. Yeah, maybe I was born for this work. Ah, that don't sound right. Nobody's made for this ungodly work. Except maybe this old thing. So I kill and I chop and I burn, but there's more of them every day, and I feel like I'm pushing a very big stone up a very steep mountain, and it keeps rolling back down. What do you call that? Sisyphean? Or is that when you get a burning in your privates? My idea of culture is reruns of Cheers and, you know, not ancient Greek mythology. Well, the old gal ain't a proper match for everything that turns up on my doorstep. Seems she's too much for most of it. Spreads a bone of dead man's guts all over the place. Well, there's no time to gather it all up before we're right back up in the thick of it. And they never stop coming. They never stop coming. building. The kind that comes before a storm when it builds and builds but just won't break. Yeah, the Ravens, they feel it too. Last time I saw them like this, when the trees were more birds than branches, there were murders. Yeah, that was back in 2002. Tail end of a long and wicked hot summer. By August, the whole town smelled rotten, and we hadn't seen a drop of rain since June. When the storm finally broke and the Ravens flew, the killings stopped. Never believed what the paper wrote about that vagrant, neither did Helen, despite those boys in city council leaning on her. Well, she took a beating. Could have hurt her career, but she was right. Wasn't human hands cut those girls open. An unkindness of Ravens, isn't that what they call it? My idea of reading is the TV guide, not anything that could charitably be called literature. But even I know signs and portents when I see them.
Yeah, that was a heck of an affair. No good for the town. No good for policing. Now I'm through with it, but you can have at the computer there if it'd scratch an itch.
The Lady Margaret was a traumatic experience for everyone on board. They were changed men when they came back. I visited with all of them in the days following their return.